Today we are working Psalm 136. Some traditional uses in magic for Psalm 136 are to speed up your good and to be forgiven of wrongdoing. And I'm today going to focus Psalm 136 on having the divine design manifest in your life in any situation. The way we work psalm magic is very simple, easy, and effective. We take our psalm and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. Once we're finished with this incantation, we go back through that same psalm and we dig and search for occult meanings behind each verse by trying to get some understanding of the meanings behind the words and then applying those understandings to whatever our issue is that we brought to the psalm. We are taking those magic seeds of understanding and planting them in the depths of our minds where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do right now with Psalm 136. O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. O give thanks unto the God of gods, for his mercy endureth forever. O give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his mercy endureth forever. To him who alone doeth great works, for his mercy endureth forever. To him that by wisdom made the heavens, for his mercy endureth forever. To him that stretched out the earth above the waters, for his mercy endureth forever. To him that made great lights, for his mercy endureth forever. The sun to rule by day, for his mercy endureth forever. The moon and stars to rule by night, for his mercy endureth forever. For him that smote Egypt in their firstborn, for his mercy endureth forever, and brought out Israel from among them, for his mercy endureth forever, with a strong hand and with a stretched out arm, for his mercy endureth forever. To him which divideth the Red Sea into parts, for his mercy endureth forever, and made Israel to pass through the midst of it, for his mercy endureth forever. But overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for his mercy endureth forever. And to him which led his people through the wilderness, for his mercy endureth forever. To him which smote great kings, for his mercy endureth forever, and slew famous kings, for his mercy endureth forever. Sihon king of the Amorites, for his mercy endureth forever, and Og the king of Bashan, for his mercy endureth forever, and gave their land for an heritage, for his mercy endureth forever, even an heritage unto Israel, his servant, for his mercy endureth forever, who remembered us in our low estate, for his mercy endureth forever, and hath redeemed us from our enemies, for his mercy endureth forever, who giveth food to all flesh, for his mercy endureth forever. O give thanks unto the God of heaven, for his mercy endureth forever. We're thinking in terms of the divine design. Think of how infinite intelligence has the planets in a particular course around the sun. Babies are grown out of embryos. Oxygen turns to energy and then carbon dioxide. There's an order to the universe. But somehow, when we are involved in our own problems and our own issues, because we have free will and free choice and ego minds and all of that, we forget that there's an order to us as well. And just like the acorn turns into an oak or the tomato seed turns into a tomato vine, our souls have their own soul seed, and we have a part of the divine design. And then when we start to perceive ourselves as being separate from the divine design, that's when we have problems. So the idea of this is that no matter what's going on in your life, if it's not good, it's not part of the divine design, and you need to make an adjustment. And that is how we are using this psalm today. O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good. Okay, so the Lord in this sense is the tetragrammaton. In the King James Version of the Bible, Lord is translated Yud-He-Vav-He, whereas God is translated Elohim. Yud-He-Vav-He was considered the ineffable name of God. And the ancient Israelites were very superstitious about not saying that name out loud. And it's only mentioned here, and then it goes into other sort of nicknames for this God throughout the rest of the psalm. It gives us the tetragrammaton to set the stage for the rest of the psalm, and it says, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good." Now that just shows you what God is. God is good. It doesn't mean that God is a good God. It means that all that is good is God. Yud He Vav He equals anything in your life that's good. And according to the Psalms in general, there is only good. And anything that's not good is something that's not God and therefore doesn't ultimately exist, except for within the realm of our shared hallucination here, this nightmare that we're experiencing. So, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever." Mercy means the solving of any problem, or in this context today, the reordering of things, the recalibration of things so that they become in alignment with the divine design, which is already in effect. So, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good." So everything that is good is what we are aligning with. "For his mercy endureth forever." Because we are calling on this force, we are then allowing everything to be realigned to that divine design. And that's what the mercy enduring forever is. Forever is when? The present moment. Forever is not in the future. A lot of people think that forever means the continuation of a long line of linear time in the future. But forever is eternity, and eternity can't exist in the future, can't exist in the past, only exists now. Infinite intelligence's mercy is now. It endures, meaning that it's the only thing that exists. It's all that is right now. Anything that's not like that can't endure and therefore dies right now in favor of the divine design. So all your problems die right before your eyes. "Oh, give thanks unto the God of gods, for his mercy endureth forever." That's what Yud He Vav He's role is. The chairman of the board of the angels, the chairman of the board of the host of heaven. You can think of Yud He Vav He as the head honcho angel, but that's a representation. For instance, if somebody's the head of a corporation, when they go into a meeting, they are representing that corporation. It's as if that corporation was there. They are the representation of that corporation. They're not representing themselves as an individual. The same thing goes with Yud He Vav He. Yud He Vav He is the representation of the collective, which is known as Elohim. All gods are one, and Yud He Vav He is the mouthpiece of all those gods. "Oh, give thanks to the God of gods, for his mercy endureth forever." "Oh, give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his mercy endureth forever." The God of gods is talking in terms of Yud He Vav He's function in the collective. The Lord of lords is more talking to us about infinite intelligence is in charge of everything, has power over everything. And that's not over as in there's some personality outside of you that you can't fight against and you just have to bow down and do what it says. It means that it is the order of life itself. So it is the power in the intelligence that causes babies to come out of embryos. That is the Lord of Lords, the power of power. It is the intelligence of intelligence. It's that which scientists keep researching and trying to uncover and trying to understand. That is the Lord of Lords. So we're grateful for this intelligence. We are grateful for this order, where our mercy comes from. That's where the solving of all of our problems comes from, is the fact that everything is perfect already. We don't have to change anything. We don't have to fix anything. We just need to align with that perfection. To him who alone doeth great wonders, for his mercy endureth forever. This is not some separate deity, and that's the only deity that can do good things, and any other deity is not very good. That's not what that's saying. It's talking about the fact that the order itself is the power. A lot of times people say, everything happens for a reason. God has a plan for me. And those are nice things to think, but it's different than what this is saying, because those are saying that there's some sort of linear plan, that there's going to be this and then that and then this and then that, this whole sequence that needs to happen in order for God's plan to be fulfilled. And you have a destiny and that you're supposed to do certain things. And so that way, when bad things happen, you can say, oh, well, everything happens for a reason. Instead of that, this is talking about to him alone who doeth great wonders, meaning the pattern itself. It's not a plan, it's a pattern. It's not a linear timeline. It's a pattern that exists in eternity here and now. And just aligning to the pattern, there's an infinite amount of possibilities as to how things can work out. There's not one linear timeline that's going to happen because it was predestined. There's a divine pattern. There's a divine design. And out of that divine design, all kinds of cool things can happen. So that's the mercy enduring forever from that perspective. To him that stretched out the earth above the waters, for his mercy endureth forever. Now the waters represent fears. The waters represent the things that are unknown. The waters represent the possibility of drowning. The ancient Israelites did not like water. They were very afraid of water. And so when the infinite stretched out dry land above the waters, this is the divine design that allows you to have refuge from your problem, your perceived problem, which is the water, and the dry land is already put there for you so that you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about your fears. You don't have to worry about being swallowed up by water because the infinite's already taken care of you. And there's a pattern for that. There's always dry land for you. You never have to be treading water. You always have the dry land available for you because that's part of the divine design. And that happens in the present moment because his mercy endureth forever. To him that made great lights, for his mercy endureth forever. There were a lot of ancient people that were so worried that the sun wouldn't come up in the morning again, that they had to do big rituals. They had to sacrifice goats and things like that in order to make sure that the sun came up. And they thought that there was proof that their rituals worked because the sun kept coming up in the morning. And this is talking about you don't need to sacrifice goats to have your problems worked out. You don't need to do rituals to pray to some external deity to make sure that there's a divine design. You just have to align with it. You just have to notice it. You just have to be one with it. The sun's going to keep coming up no matter how many goats you sacrifice. But the problem in those old cultures is nobody ever came along and told them that there were enough goats. Right? You sacrificed enough goats. You don't need any more. The sun's going to keep coming up. So this is an acknowledgement that all your needs are always met at every moment of time and point of space in the divine design. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do sacrifices. You don't have to convince the infinite to help you. The sun to rule by day, for his mercy endureth forever. That's your conscious mind. That's the things that you're aware of. If you allow the divine design to permeate your understanding of the world and to be in charge of things rather than you trying to make your own reality up, then the things during the day, in other words, the things in your conscious mind, the things that you're aware of, will all start to fall into place. You'll see it for yourself, just like the sun coming up every morning. You'll see it for yourself. It'll be very clear. The moon and stars to rule by night, for his mercy endureth forever. That's the stuff that's going on in your deep mind, the stuff that you don't understand, the things that are mysterious to you. Those things will work in your favor as well. So the things that are seen, the things that are unseen, the things that are known, and the things that are unknown, all are working in your favor because that's how it was designed. Everything was designed for your benefit. That's a very challenging thing for us to think about, isn't it? That everything was designed for my personal benefit. And everything's supposed to work out for me, no matter what. And that if it's not, then something's wrong. If things aren't working out to my benefit, it means that something's wrong. And the only thing that can be wrong is that we are misusing our free will to perceive things and to do things in ways that are not in alignment with the divine design. People hear that and they say, yeah, well, what about earthquakes? What about hurricanes? People didn't ask for that. People didn't want that. And that's very true. And that's yet another example of why this isn't the world that we were created to live in. People say, well, why would a loving God create so many problems? There you answered your whole question. A loving God wouldn't create so many problems. A loving God wouldn't create this. And that's why even though this world is so beautiful at times, it's still a horrible place. It's a horrible place. Everything here is based on pain and suffering and death. You might have a few good years where everything works out for you, and then you're going to die anyway. So when you look to the world itself as the arbiter of what's kind and what's good and what's holy and what's merciful, you're not going to find it. However, according to this psalm, there is mercy that happens outside of this thought system that can bring our experience of this world, of this nightmare, into something better while we are in the process of waking up. We don't have to wait till we wake up in order for things to work out for us, that things in the dream can start working to our benefit. And then we will wake up eventually because there won't be any reason for us to dally in this world of illusions any longer. So this idea that the infinite created the world as we experience is not true. We created the world that we experience based on projection. We as a species did. We as a child of the infinite did that for ourselves. And that's the whole idea of the fall. But the fall never really happened because you can't fall from grace. That's not part of the divine design. So understanding that everything that we experience here is a projection of either our personal or our collective consciousness, we understand that there is another way to see the world that we've never seen before because we've never been taught to do that. And that's what a psalm like this is going to help you do, is to see that there is a divine design underneath all of that illusion, underneath all of that tragedy, underneath all of that death and destruction that this world is ultimately about, at least to how we understand this world to be. To him that smote Egypt in their firstborn, for his mercy endureth forever. So we're hearkening back to Bible stories now of when Israel was an enslaved people and that the infinite freed them from that slavery. Any place in our lives where we are enslaved, any place in our lives where we have a pharaoh, where we have an oppressive situation or oppression in general, that's not part of the divine design. And that's why in the story, the Israelites were eventually freed because they found that divine design. But you don't have to wait. Here and now, in an instant, you can be freed from the oppressors in your life, whether those oppressors be people, circumstances, yourself, your health, your finances, your relationships, whatever it happens to be. Those oppressors are not part of this divine design, and understanding that allows you to anchor your thoughts on something else, something greater. And that something greater has the power to change what you're experiencing by aligning you with the divine design, which doesn't include oppression. And brought Israel from among them, for his mercy endureth forever. So remember Israel being in captivity. Israel represents your soul, a beam of light from a central star. You are starlight. That's who you are. You're not a body like you think you are. You're not a mind like you think you are. You're not a bunch of circumstances like you think you are. You're not a bunch of tragedies like you think you are. You are starlight. You are pure starlight that is caught in a thought loop of ego thinking that is imprisoning you in this idea that you are trapped in this tragic experience here. That's the whole idea of Pharaoh and Egypt and all that stuff in the story. And to be freed from that, you must let go of your attachment to that. You must let go of your attachment to Egypt, your attachment to the story of whatever your oppression happens to be. You have to stop talking about your story. You have to stop telling everybody how horrible your story is. You have to stop telling yourself how horrible your story is, and instead turn to the mercy that endureth forever, which is when? In the present moment. And allow yourself, Israel, which is who you are, allow your soul to be freed from captivity. and the captivity is from your very own ego mind, which is nothing more than a habit. It's nothing more than a habit of thinking, but it's a powerful habit. And you can break that habit by turning to the infinite rather than to your ego to solve each of your problems. Because the ego's idea of solving your problems is very different than the infinite's idea of solving your problems. The ego loves your problems. The ego's the creator of your problems, and the ego's problems always are presented to you as unsolvable. Whereas the infinite recognizes there is no such thing as a problem. So which power do you really want to be in charge of you experiencing yourself free from this problem? The power that is the creator of you, that knows that you don't have any problems, or the power that is a habit of thought that doesn't really exist, that creates problems that seem unsolvable? We tend to always go to the ego to solve the problem. And now that we understand that, let's go to the power that doesn't have problems, that is our creator, that is just waiting for us to ask for help. And that's what we're doing in this psalm. With a strong hand and a stretched out arm, for his mercy endureth forever. That's the long arm of God. The long arm of God simply means there's no place the divine design can't touch. There's no place that it can't heal. There is no problem that's unsolvable to the long arm of God, to the long arm of the infinite. There's nothing. There's not one problem. And there is nothing that is difficult for the long arm of God. And a lot of times people think my problems are very special. And since my problems are so special, they're probably too complicated for any power to figure out. So I'm just going to have to deal with them. And that's not true. There is no easy and difficult and big and small and old and new in the infinite's mind. There is a place in your own existence where you are already in the divine design, but you're asleep to it. Everything is already perfect permanently, but you're having this dream that everything's not working. But that long arm of God can reach into the dream and fix the issues, align the issues in the dream so that they start to conform to the divine design, and so that this nightmare that you're having starts to reflect the truth rather than all of this tragedy and terror. To him which divided the Red Sea into parts, for his mercy endureth forever. In that old Bible story, Moses was leading his people out of captivity, and they were running. And they were being chased by all these soldiers. And what did Moses do? Listen to the inner guidance that said, bring him into the ocean. Moses said, that inner voice has never failed me before, so it can't fail me this time. Let's go in the ocean, everybody. And so they all went into the ocean, and the ocean parted. And then when they got through, the ocean swallowed up all the soldiers. That's a symbol. Don't think of that as historical fact. It's a fairy tale. But fairy tales are powerful, because it shows you how indestructible you really are. That no matter what seems to be happening, the Red Sea is going to part and you're going to go right through, because infinite intelligence has a divine design for you that doesn't include you being destroyed. No matter what your problem is, that long arm of God is always available to you, even when it seems impossible, because your Red Sea is going to go ahead and part for you. Because you are listening to that inner guidance. Because that's who you are. You are Moses. And those people are all of your thoughts. But when I look at fairy tales, spiritual literature, myths, I look at each character as a part of myself. Then it has some validity to me. Then I can use it. Then it's something powerful. And that's how you have to use this idea of parting the Red Sea. That's for you to do. And you can get ready to go. As soon as you're done with this today, go out there and just say, what's the problem? Let me ask infinite intelligence, can we part the Red Sea here? Can we just keep going for it? If I go for what I'm supposed to do, are you going to part that Red Sea for me? Am I going to get through there safely? And your inner guidance is going to say, of course. Of course we'll part that sea for you. And made Israel to pass through the midst of it, for his mercy endureth forever. Remember, Israel is you. Israel is your soul. It's you that's asleep right now, but it's you going through whatever you've got to go through in safety. but overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for his mercy endureth forever. And that's what happens to our ego. Our ego gets swallowed up in its own nonsense because it doesn't really exist. It's just a lot of noise that we've been in the habit of listening to. And as soon as we stop listening to it, it gets swallowed up in the sea because we're listening to another voice. We're listening to the voice within us that knows the divine design, and it shows us how to get through the problem and shows us that there really is no problem because the problem has already been solved. It doesn't matter if there's a big sea, you just go right through it. And the ego can't get through that. The ego can't get through the Red Sea. The ego can't because the ego doesn't really ultimately exist. To him which led his people through the wilderness, for his mercy endureth forever. What's your wilderness situation? This is so serious. This is so bad. Nothing can solve this. That's not the divine design. Your inner guide has you look at your wilderness in a brand new way. And when you look at the wilderness in a brand new way, the wilderness is no longer something for you to fear because it doesn't ultimately exist. To him which smote kings, for his mercy endureth forever. The king is simply a symbol of any situation or person that you think is so powerful, and there's absolutely no way that you can triumph or have any success because those people are trying to keep you down. And slew famous kings, for his mercy endureth forever. What's a famous king? Those are the ones that everybody talks about. Everybody's got those kinds of problems. I can't solve this. Everybody's going through this. Those are famous kings. And it's saying you can live under the rule of these famous kings, or you can choose the divine design and watch those kings get slain. Sihon, king of the Amorites, for his mercy endureth forever. Og, the king of Bashan, for his mercy endureth forever. Those are the famous kings. It's death and taxes, basically. The ego's big armament. There's just no way out of these things. These are problems for you. But see, the divine design looks at death and taxes differently. It looks at them very differently. For one thing, you'll pay your taxes and it's no big deal because it's just the way this particular world works until you get into the other world where you don't need something like taxes. And death is seen very differently by infinite intelligence. Yeah, in this world, bodies die, things change. It's just how it works, but it's not part of the divine design. The divine design is the continuity and the eternity which is behind all of that. And so when you're involved with the divine design, even death and taxes no longer bother you. They don't hold the same kind of weight because they even are seen as the illusion, which they are, and they don't touch you. They don't touch you. That's not to say that you're never going to pay taxes and that you're not going to die, but it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem for you. We have to respect the laws of this world, but the laws of this world have nothing to do with the divine design. And so when we're involved with the divine design, we are lifted up out of that battlefield and we get through the resolution of things in this world in a very different way. Even an heritage unto Israel his servant, for his mercy endureth forever. Not only are you going to find a way through these things of this world where it's not going to be a problem for you anymore, you're going to get restitution for all of what it's done to you. All of the problems that you've been having, you get restitution for that. You get paid back. You get a settlement for that. You get to inherit their lands. You get all the booty from overcoming them. You get paid with interest. Who remembered us in our low estate, for his mercy endureth forever. When you're at your lowest, infinite intelligence is there with you. The infinite is there right with you when you're at your lowest. And the reason you're at your lowest is because you're not aware of the infinite. You're not aware of the divine design, but that doesn't mean the divine design isn't there. And that doesn't mean that the infinite isn't aware of you and it isn't right there waiting for you to turn to it and to say, let's do this. Let's go. Let's make this happen. So no matter how low you are, you've never been abandoned. You never will be abandoned. You are just as much at one with the infinite at your lowest points as you are when everything is going great for you. There's no degree of how connected you actually are to the infinite. There's only a degree of how aware you are of that connection. And those degrees are artificial because it doesn't ultimately matter other than in your experience, which is temporary. Because remember, this is forever that the mercy endures. So that means in the present moment. In the present moment, you can't have these problems like you can in the past and in the future. When your mind is focused on the present moment, the problems dissolve. They disappear. They dissipate. Who giveth food to all flesh, for his mercy endureth forever. We're looking at food as being substance. There is infinite substance at all moments of time and points of space. There is no spot where God is not. There is no place where you don't have the ability to have all your needs met. And if you're not experiencing that, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that you're being punished. It doesn't mean that you're wrong, but it does mean that you're unaware of where that substance is. You're unaware that help is available to you. That's one of the beautiful things of working a psalm like this, is that it reminds you, it opens up your mind to the idea that all of your problems have already been solved, all of your needs have already been met, and it's about you opening up to the truth that exists forever in the present moment. When that opening happens in the present moment, you start seeing things change, and it seems like such a miracle. In reality, what seems like such a miracle is what's supposed to be happening all the time. It's supposed to be the most common thing ever. But since we've been spending so many generations on this earth avoiding the divine design at all costs, that when the divine design finally comes through and we see these miraculous things happen, we say, oh, it's a miracle. And in reality, no, you just finally are starting to see how things are supposed to be. So miracles, yay, they're great. And we want them, but recognize that that's how life is supposed to be. That's how life was designed to be. Very magical experience, very miraculous, very fabulous experience. Not this dark dystopian experience here on this planet. Oh, give thanks unto the God of heaven, for his mercy endureth forever. The God of heaven simply means first cause. That which is the cause of all that is. And remember, the cause of all that is creates you in the moment out of love, through an act of love, out of the fabric of love, which is that starlight that we've been talking about. And part of that love, part of that compassion includes freedom. Our freedom as children of the infinite seems like a curse to us because we don't understand how to use our freedom, how to use the powers of our mind without causing problems. But we are learning. We are learning. And infinite intelligence's mercy endures forever in that when we use our minds to reorient to the divine design, things start working out for us. And if we can stay in the present moment with our minds fixed and stayed upon that divine design, everything is perfect. Heaven means cause, earth means effect, but heaven also means paradise. Paradise means everything is perfect. It's permanent perfection. There's no problem. The infinite didn't create problems. It's not part of the divine design. So the divine design is the paradise that is our birthright, where we already exist asleep. And remember, this is not a place, this is a choice. This paradise, this heaven, is a choice that we must make. And in order for us to make it, we must make it in the moment. And we must make it in the moment vigilantly. And when we choose for the divine design instead of whatever it is that we happen to be going through, that's a powerful way of using our mind. And that's exactly what we are being encouraged to do in this psalm. So you just keep coming back to that same psalm again and again, and eventually you'll get a sense that everything is working out. Sometimes you'll see the results right away, but often before you ever see results, you just get this little click, you get this sense of peace, certainty, relaxation, happiness, joy, and you just don't even feel like working on the problem anymore because you know it's all working out. That's a sign to you that your spell has been cast, and you can just move off of it. You can forget all about it and move on to something else. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time, blessed be.